Yeah, good morning. I'm here today to talk to you about Hytera's Halo dispatcher. Just to go back to what is Hytera Halo, it's a workforce communication solution leveraging 4G, LTE, and Wi-Fi, secure, instant, and national communication. Wherever you've got a cell phone network, you're going to have communication. So the dispatcher, what is it? Well, it's a very powerful web-based dispatcher. No executable required on your computer. It's web-based and it's a communication management platform. It's a true, easy-to-use business tool. What does it do? Well, it allows us to communicate, coordinate, and facilitate. When we say communicate, instant communications with national groups of remote workers using rugged, bespoke devices. Hytera has a range of press-to-talk over cellular devices or devices that are capable of that, as shown in this slide, and the dispatcher provides management for that. It also coordinates worker locations and jobs with GPS tracking, geofencing, and dynamic regrouping. It also facilitates or supports cost reduction and operational efficiency for most users. Sharing of any images and video with remote workers to quickly solve problems. This is not 0G narrowband 12.5 kilohertz. This is broadband communication. And yeah, we're so used to connectivity, it is almost kind of a religion for most of us. So it's a disruptor. Key features for the specific product, the Hytera Halo dispatcher, includes individual calls, that's one-on-one calls, and those can be full duplex, no press to talk, no receive to hear, or half duplex, as in your 2-way radio press to talk, release to hear, an emergency call, a text message, a video call. When you PTT, your video goes to whoever you're talking to. If they've got a device that can receive video, they'll see you. Video pull. You can pull video from a device. Video push, you can push an MP4 to a device, and you can force video pull. In the case of force video pull, it is there's no interaction from the receiver. When the dispatcher says, I want video, he gets video from your device. In the case of standard video pull, you as the receiver of the request from the dispatcher have to acknowledge and allow the dispatcher to pull video from your device. So that's individual calls. In group calls, we do half duplex. We can set up a broadcast call. We can set it up as an emergency call, text, video call, and video push. Real-time video streaming and video conferencing is possible using the dispatch application, GPS location tracking, geofencing, call logging and recording, a remote stun and revive. So everything that is transacted in and out of this dispatcher is recorded on our cloud-hosted platform. Everything you do on the dispatcher is recorded, whether it's a voice, text, video, it's all recorded. So I said it's web-based. So how do you access the application? Well, as long as you've got internet access, we will give you an address. You input your customer ID, your username and password on this page, and away you go, log in. So when you log in, you'll see the first page of, or the home page, I would like to call it the home page layout of our Halo dispatcher. It's extremely simple, clear, clean, uncutted, easy to view and understand. And I'll run through screenshots associated with the dispatcher to highlight some of the features. We will not have time to go through all of the features. So I've divided this into 6 different positions, 6 sections. The left icon panel is the icons running down the left-hand side. Section number 2 is contacts, groups, and dispatcher lists. Section number 3, a list of monitored groups or individual contacts. Section 4 is a map position display of GPS subscribed devices. And section 5 is action that's happening, or if you're making a call or receiving a call is displayed up there. And section 6 is the text panel, which will show you incoming text or incoming pictures. How do we know who is on the dispatcher and active, whose device is turned on and whose device is turned off? Two ways. Essentially, if you look at the beautiful little circle with the highlighting the two positions, the blue icon, which looks like a body cam icon, indicates the unit is active and talking to the dispatcher, and the grayed out icon indicates that it is an inactive unit. Similarly, if you zoom in to a specific user on the map, it will tell you if the terminal is online, and then you could see on the left-hand side again, those that are grayed out are offline, those that have the little blue color are online and active. Going down the left-hand side of the icon panel, we have a number of buttons, and we'll start at the top with our activity alert and alarms icon. When selected, it indicates recent call activity, recent alarm activity, and recent message activity. So I select the button, it brings up the call, message, and alarm on the top left. It shows me the recent call lists, the type of calls, whether it was a monitored call, a call out, incoming call, or a missed call. The information is displayed there and time-stamped. If I hit the message icon, it lets me know about the messages that went out or didn't, and time and date stamps them. If I hit the alarm button, it shows me incoming alarms, and emergency warnings, and it allows me to mark these alarms as read or managed. So when the alarm icon was selected, recent alarm and emergency call activity is listed, time and date stamped, and you're able to mark it as read. When we go to the next icon down, this is the group call list. Selector button or icon. Talk groups are pre-configured as per your customer requirements. Who's in which group, how many devices are in which group, whether it's a sales group, a maintenance group, technical group. Those are pre-configured in our service operation platform and are visible here and when assigned to the dispatcher. They can pre-configured as per your customer's requirement. And what we can do is highlight or lift to the top of the panel the most commonly used groups, or the top of the list, so you can access them easily. The next panel is the next icon is the contact list icon, and that brings up individual contacts. And once again, with the individual contacts, you're able to highlight or use the most commonly used. We'll go to the top. You can set them up at the top. So there's an indication of my favorites list at the top: security, supervisor, dispatcher, George PNC1, and then the contacts list of all the contacts that I'm able to use. Going down to the fourth button, icon button, is the dynamic group builder. What this allows me to do is set up a dynamic group. If I want to have a specific group of people, users, devices, talking together for some reason, I can set up a dynamic group. Clicking on that button, I give the dynamic group a name, and then I drag in users into that group, and it stores under the dynamic group assignment list the dynamic group. So you may need to set up groups for different things, and this is pretty handy if you wanted to just have a sales group or a specific technical group for a period of time. So it's not unlike dynamic grouping in two-way radio. This is the video icon, which brings up the video monitor. Screens can be rotated, maximized, or minimized, or selected as full screen. Screenshots can be taken from the individual video screens. Incoming video is displayed and video calls on this device. But it's worth noting that video calls are originated from the contacts icon and not from this screen. So this shows you incoming video information and displays it at the moment up to 4 live feeds. So this is live streaming. We move to the right-hand side of the screen. We have our current call and text panels. Call info is displayed, whether it's an incoming call, whether it's an outgoing call, who the call is being made to or received from, whether it's a standard call where you PTT on by pressing the microphone icon, or whether you accept a video call or send a video call by pressing the video icon. Text happens below that, and right at the bottom, enter message information here. That's where you type in your text message to send to a specific user. Across the top, we have an interactive map control bar, and that allows us to create an ad hoc group call, set up cross-border alarming or geofencing and associated rules. And locations applies to the location subscription, whether we've decided on an update to be every 10 seconds, every 20 seconds, or any 30 seconds. Depending on the update rate, we decide on as Mr. Dispatcher, that is set under location. The center of your screen displays the unit's GPS position information on a zoomable Google map. You'll notice that these blue icons, the text is rather garbled. That's because we have zoomed out to the whole of the US, and I have number of units in a very small area. You can decide whether you want to show all of your units or a specific unit when you configure the system, and I'll show you where that is a little later. The top menu holds the assignable list of monitored groups, of monitored dispatches, or monitored individual contacts. And that, once again, is a click and drag from the list panel on the left. You click and drag and add into your monitored list, and that means that any action that happens in the HUS sale group, the tech group, or the all group will be heard and monitored by this dispatcher position, and of course also recorded. If we go to an individual device or an individual contact, there's some settings that we can configure from the dispatcher position. They include emergency calls. So if you want to set up as an emergency call, show track, real-time GPS position, and so on. So we have settings, monitor, cancel usually, trajectory, video pull, force video pull, video push, and stun. When we select monitor, the particular person or user we monitor will go up into the top block. Cancel usually, that is the priority, that will go into the most commonly used. Either cancel that subscriber as the most commonly used subscriber or favored subscriber, or add them. Trajectory will give you access to the history of that device over a period of time, GPS position-wise on a map. Video pull means you can pull video from the device. Force video pull from the device. Video push, send a MP4 to a device, and stun and revive a device. So that's all available per unit, per subscriber on the dispatcher. In addition to that, you have the ability to set up whether the call is a full duplex call or a half duplex call to that subscriber. Set up an emergency call. Show track. Show track is different from history trajectory. Show track will give you a current real-time video track with an update rate of 3 seconds as per the subscription cycles, as long as you selected the location subscription, which I've selected in this. So in this case, here is an example of where show track has been selected. Each one of those small dots is the update or the refresh rate. You'll see the breadcrumb trail in real time. It's limited to about 100 hits, 100 positions. but each of those dots represents a GPS update, and we defined it as 3 seconds, but it can be defined as 3, 6, 10, 30, or whatever you would like. So if you wanted to real-time track a few people, it's possible to do that too. If you click on the blue icon on the map on the screen, contact details will appear, some longitude and latitude information, the direction that the device is facing or heading or had been heading, and the speed, the average speed. And then you have a icon for a video call in the middle. You have an icon for a voice call on the left and a text call on the right. So it is possible to originate calls directly from the mapped icon. There are even more settings. So when we go to each individual contact icon on the left, each individual contact has a call type menu. For instance, the 3 dots is a message. If you select that, you'll then be sending a message from your right-hand message pane as whatever you type. If you select the microphone, that's a half duplex call to that particular subscriber. If you select the telephone handset, that would be a full duplex call to that subscriber. And if you select the camera icon, it'll be a video call. The last blue icon is a changeable icon that allows you to change color so that it's easier to arrange visually on your control panel on the left, or your contacts list. So as you can see, there are quite a few, it's quite easy to use, and there are a lot of settings that you can do from the dispatcher relatively easily. Going back to the top bar, circle select. This allows us to select or draw a circle around an area, and everyone within that circle then becomes part of a group immediately. And the dispatcher can call. Kind of useful if you want to find people closest to an event, you want to have a really good response time to that event. You could look at where the event is, draw a circle around that area, and the circle selection objects will pop up. Those guys that are in there on the drop-down menu, George PNC1, Ed, George VM 780, and so on. Those are the guys or users in that circle who will then be able to be addressed by a call from the dispatcher. We also have geofencing and cross-border alarm setup. The geofencing is select cross-border alarming. It gives you a polygon that you can click and set up, which I've set up around me over there. It then gives you give it a name, and then you associate a rule with that specific geofence and give the rule a name. This rule name is G1, and what I want to do is I want to know when that device leaves or is leaving that, the condition is leaving that area. I'm enabling that, the time frame that I'm enabling it for, the alarm area, and the alarm persons that are in that area. So I've got 3 people or 3 users, subscribers in that area. That means that I will get an alarm if somebody leaves that area. And you can store a number of alarms. You can use the little I or crossed out I button to see them visually or not. If I go to the last item on the map bar is the location information. And here I can either subscribe all of my company units to GPS location or limit them. Because I have too many on a map. So this is the page. This is where you assign the unit. You select the unit. It gives you the kind of unit, the number of the unit in the system, the alias, the subscription time, and the subscription cycle, which you can define once again the number of seconds that it talks to the map. If we go back down to the left onto the clock, we have history and call logging capability, history of calls, history of SMSs is fully searchable, and time and date stamped, history of status messages, history of emergency warnings, and overstep or geofence warnings. Everything is accessed from that particular bar. Just an idea of what it looks like. It brings up a form for you to say who called out, who's calling in, what kind of call, what was the call level, what is the start time and end time that I'm searching for. So in this case, I just called out, I want to know 1010003 called out to anybody between the start time and the end time is listed. Give me a record, and I got 7 records. You can get up to 50 records per page. The records show you it called out to from 03, called to 08, called to 22, called to 23, called to 10, as in the call-ins, and there were individual audio calls, so not group calls in this case. Start time, the server is our cloud-hosted platform, and the call times were quick because they were just hits. One was 3 seconds, as you can see. Call initiation time, and then whether it was a full duplex or a half duplex call, and if it was an ordinary call or an emergency call. The same with the messages. You can select a device you want to know who sent or who received, what kind of messages. Was it a group message or was it an individual message? Was it encrypted? So you can search and download information, once again, up to 50 items per page. And then if you go out of the geofencing area, we have these alarms that can be recorded, or and the alarm status is shown. So if the alarm has been cancelled, what kind of alarm was it? It was a leaving alarm, leaving an area and entering Jim's home, Jim's house, and the times that those alarms were cancelled. So there's some interesting history and tracking capability of calls, of messages, and of the geofencing alarms and emergency alarm calls. There's an indication of trajectory. If I select trajectory for a device, it'll tell me, ask me what the time frame is that I want to search, whether it's 7 days ago, whether it's 1 day ago, whether it's last 24 hours. And I can pull that information off the cloud-hosted server, and it will display on the map. Once again, the little dots are every time that the unit updated from the GPS to the mapping package. The settings gear at the bottom allows you to set up and check that your microphone array, headphones, your camera for the device that you're using or the computer that you're using is activated, that you're using a Google online map source, that you're not offsetting any of the mapping and so on. So that is a basic set a device setting to make sure your device is compatible with the package or the application. And then the last item is the login time and who is currently active on this dispatcher. That kind of runs through most of the settings. This is the fun part. Getting back to the fun part, is this is what it looks like when the dispatcher is calling out, or when somebody is calling in. It will highlight in a bright color, and you will be able to press the button to, so in this case, I'm originating a call as the dispatcher, and I can clear the call down by hitting the red button. So it's a great tool for anybody who's seriously using Press to Talk over cellular as a business. And we also have it available for an Android app, in addition for it being able to run on a Halo on a PC platform. Android phones and tablets are supported. I must highlight that some of the web-based dispatching functionality is limited, but it's pretty cool to have your smartphone or your PNC 550 Hytera device or your PDC 760 device showing where your colleagues are, if you wanted to see them. A great tool, a great business tool. Who's going to use this? Well, every business really needs Press to Talk over cellular. Every business needs to efficiently communicate and manage their workforce. The largest growth sector information we receive from a number of researchers is the service industry is where this is growing particularly quickly. You have national coverage wherever there's a cell phone network, bespoke devices. So, it's a lower cost than a cell phone. The device, it's louder than a cell phone. You have immediate group communications and no fiddling with an app to try and find something to communicate with. So, yeah, kind of an idea of where you could pitch the product. Security companies, property management, plumbing, contracting, landscaping, cleaning, industrial supply, food services, waste collection, and yes, technology services. Your IT manager might be somebody you could find on the GPS. So a wonderful tool, a powerful web-based dispatcher. We give you a login, password, wherever you are, whatever device you're on, as long as you see the internet, you can manage your fleet of communications, and you can manage your users and track them. A great business tool worth considering for anybody who's serious about press to talk over cellular. Thank you very much.